my ace high has some value. I also have some backdoor draws. It has some overcards. I certainly think calling there's fine. Folding's okay, but certainly calling there is fine. I like the call better than the bluff raise because if I raise, I'm not represented as much. On the turn, he fires again. The queen obviously is a great second barrel card for him, and it doesn't help me out at all. If that was, say, the queen of spades, I'll probably just call here and represent like a 9 type hand, because I think a large percent of the time he doesn't have the queen, and then I'll be able to take it off him on the river, and my hand's very believable. I don't think he'll try and triple barrel me off a top pair type hand. Because I pick up nothing, I think I can represent a strong hand. By bluff raising this turn, I represent a lot of hands, and they're legitimate hands. He's not going to be able to have a ton of hands to continue on this board. Now, would I make that play against a really good player? No. A really good player might expect me to slow play the set there, might not believe me. But against that particular player who I've never seen before, I'm guessing he's not a regular. Maybe he is and we just haven't tangled very much, but I'm guessing he's a little more ABC, and ABC says a turn raise is really strong. On the top left, I again on the bottom right decide to open min raise, same reasons I said before. On the top left, I had the decision between calling and 3-betting. Calling does keep some weaker aces and such in his range. However, with ace-jack off, I'm not terribly sad if I don't get to see a flop with it. I don't mind calling because I have position. I don't mind 3-betting. When it's a situation like, should I 3-bet, should I call, you'll notice that I tend to be more aggressive, and I think it's the correct way to play poker. When in doubt, be aggressive. I'd rather be known as a player who's too aggressive than who's not aggressive enough, because ultimately, say you're playing NL 200 and you're too aggressive for the stakes. As you move up, a play that might be too aggressive at NL 200 is perfectly fine at NL 600 and considered normal. So Timothy's a type of player who likes to 3-bet or fold. Like I said before, he has a 6% 3-bet overall. I've opened min raised before. He's probably getting a little annoyed with me stealing his button. Go ahead and decide to 4-bet. He calls, which is really interesting. There's not a ton of hands beside trap hands that people usually call with. Usually when people call 4-bets, it's they really don't believe you, or they've got aces and they want to suck some value out of you. Real quick on the bottom left, King 2 suited, I obviously can't call here, so it's a situation where I have to 3-bet or fold. BMW man has been really quiet on that table. So that would lead you to think, hey, don't 3-bet. But he knows I know he's been really quiet, so my 3-bet's getting a lot of strength. It's basically a play at 1-2 NL. You don't want to 3-bet there because the guy's been too quiet. At 5-10 NL, you want to be 3-betting there because you know he knows. The Jack-9 off, I do have a club draw. I just think I'm getting trapped there a significant portion where c-betting isn't profitable. Unfortunately, I almost time out, but that was due to the fact when I'm recording for videos, my poker shortcuts doesn't auto-click time bake feature. The pocket jacks on the top left-hand corner is the absolute minimum I go with there. I fold pocket 10s, and that's obviously short stack dependent, but just doing the math behind it, you'll see that jacks is barely positive EV. He elected to check back, which was really interesting to me. After I played this session, I thought over and over and over about this hand, and I came to the conclusion, when he checks behind, he's doing it because he's continuing to trap like aces and he's got a club, or he really didn't believe me. If he really didn't believe me, he's gonna try and steal it from me on that flop, because the only reason why he would call with a hand that he quote-unquote didn't believe me with, say, you know, a7 suit and he was getting just crazy frisky, he's going to steal from me all the time. So we can eliminate the he's trying to steal it from me hands. In addition, he's going to bet aces, kings, queens that doesn't have a club there. So the only hands he's checking behind on that flop are monsters that are trapping me. In the hand, you'll see I fire the turn because, hey, I got an open-ended straight draw and a club draw. But my club draw is no good, I think, every single time. So basically all I'm shoving with is an open-ended straight draw. In addition, I think my queen and my 7 are dirty outs. They're not even good for me. So I think by betting the turn, which you'll see I overbet shove, in the hand it was one of those situations, hey, I got an open-ended straight draw and a club draw, I'm shoving, I have tons of out, even if I'm called. But I think after thinking the hand through, it's a huge mistake for me to shove that. I think I'm going to be with 6 outs a large majority of the time. In the hand, he was obviously drawing dead, but that was a big mistake hand from me, and that was just the heat of the moment, I think. And again, also what we can learn from that is he 3-bet king-queen suited there. Now in full ring, a lot of people will call king-queen suited there, so what I was saying before of him being a 3-bet or a fold type player, and that's why I was open min raising, that exactly illustrates the type of hand that he chooses to 3-bet when some people choose to call and keep in dominated the hands I'll have. Personally, if I was him, I like the 3-bet because in addition, then it closes out the small blind and big blind, and so you can play a hand with the initiative in position. On the top right hand, I'm in a situation where I could call, but I don't really like calling with 3-4 suited there. If I had 5-6 suited, I definitely think calling's better than 3-betting. But 3-4 suited is just weak enough where it's not a 3-bet or fold. It's one of those situations where I think you can do all three. And again, as we've learned before, I think it's correct to be more aggressive than not aggressive enough. On the bottom right, it's almost the same situation as the 3-4 suited there. I'm not a big fan of having a suited queen in my range there just because I think I'm going to be dominated a lot. If I just call there, I want to have a 7-8 suited. You know, not a king-queen suited, not a queen-jack suited. So I like to 3-bet a queen-jack suited, whereas jack-10 suited there, I'm definitely calling. And again, calling with queen-jack suited isn't a mistake. I guess it's more a stylistic thing. I just prefer being the aggressor, and on the top left, my cutoff there for calling is ace-9 off. I really should pull the poker stove and take a look at it, but because it's so close, but he's just a tighter than normal short stacker. If it's a normal short stacker, I can certainly see an argument for calling ace-7 there, but he's just so much tighter than the normal short stacker. The reason why I'm